Today I want to give you 5 steps to becoming the best manager you can be. So whether you lead a team of people, you're a business owner, entrepreneur, or even the CEO of a company, I want to give you 5 steps that are going to help you manage your people so that they trust you. Because if they don't trust you, you can't influence them. If you can't influence them, you can't get them to do their job. You can't get them to do the things that you need them to do. So I want to give you 5 steps that are going to help you build trust in your team and influence. So the first one is ask for help. I mean, this is more true if you are a new manager, like if you're just promoted into a new position. Ask for help from your team members, from your subordinates. Don't just think you can walk into a new position and start managing everybody. Ask your team members for help. They know the environment. They know the processes. They know that job better than you do. So you'll do so much good for yourself by going and asking for help from them. Ask them, how do you do your job? How do you do this? How does this work? How does that work? Have them explain it to you. They'll be happy to. Now, there's a lot of managers who feel that this is a weakness, that going in there and asking for help, it's really just a knock against their ego, and they makes them feel very uncomfortable. But that couldn't be further from the truth. When you can go in there and talk to your team members, your subordinates, and have them show you how they do their jobs, that's only going to build more trust. They're going to like you. They're going to see that, you're a real person. I mean, when you can show them that you're humble, that you don't know everything, that's going to elevate their level of trust with you. I mean, have you ever had a manager who thought they just knew everything and they didn't ask for anybody's help, but you kind of knew that they didn't really know everything? And well, obviously they knew it too, but their ego got in the way from them reaching out to you and opening up. They didn't want to show any signs of weakness, but in actuality, they're just a bad manager. And that's really one of the biggest reasons that people leave jobs, is because they hate their manager. They hate their manager because, their manager is arrogant. Their manager isn't humble. Their manager doesn't care. Their manager doesn't have the trust of their people. Their manager doesn't have any influence over the team. So, as a manager, whether you're a brand new manager or you're an existing manager, talk to your people. Ask them for help. Ask them to explain how things work. Why does it work this way? Tell me more about your job. Get involved with them. Show that you're excited about what they do. And when you have a better understanding of how everything works and how everybody else's positions all work together, that makes you more of an effective manager. I mean, I used to have a manager a long time ago where I would write the project plans for everything that needed to be done because, he was too incompetent to do it. He didn't really understand it. So I would write the project plan, and then he would just come in a very authoritative way, manage me doing the things that I needed to do. And I'm like, dude, you don't even know what you're talking about. I wrote this plan. And then he would just get real angry and just pound his fist on the table and say, well, yeah, you need to do this. You need to get it done by this time. He was just a child. He didn't really know how to manage people. He didn't know how to influence people. And, he didn't last long as a manager either. So don't be that kind of authoritative, angry, insecure manager. Go out there, reach out to your people, ask them for help. Have them show you, have them show you how you can even do your job better. Take their input. When you reach out for help from them, when you talk to them, this will allow you to get involved in the processes of how things work. And when you understand how their job works, it will allow you to be more effective to them. It will allow you and enable you to get them the resources that they need so they can do their job better. But if you're just managing them from way over here and they're way over here, you're not involved in their daily life and their daily processes, which means you're kind of disconnected and you don't see everything that's going on that they see. So let's move on to number 2. Get down in the dirt with them, man. Get down in the trenches with your team members. Go spend a day with them. Go spend a few hours. I mean, that one manager I used to have that ruled with an authoritarian fist, he never once came out to the project site to see how we're doing. He never came out to see, how we did our job. He never came out to ask how we did things. He just ruled from the phone and just looked at the list of things, and it was either done or it wasn't done. I mean, that's not how you manage people. Go out there, get in the trenches with your own people. Have them explain their job. How do they do it? And even ask them, hey, is there something I can do? Give me one of the easiest things you got. And then go do it. Go work with them, shoulder to shoulder, rub some elbows. And it will allow you to build a stronger bond with them, because when you're doing the same job that they are, they're going to feel that, you're more like them. You're going to learn more about them. You're going to learn more about how their job works and how it operates. And they're going to have more respect for you. They're going to have more trust for you and in you when you're out there doing the same kind of stuff. They're going to feel that, you're not above them. You're essentially putting yourself at their same level. And that's going to build so much more trust. They're going to see you as a person of authority, but also someone, who's humble, who wants to be there, who wants to support the team, who wants to accomplish the mission or the project or whatever the goal is. It's just going to allow you to build that bond with your team, which is going to build trust, which is going to allow you to influence them. So let's move on here to number 3. Tell the truth. Don't ever lie to your team members or your subordinates or your employees. I mean, if things aren't going well, let them know. Be straight up. Don't beat around the bush. Never lie to them, because as soon as you start lying to your team members or your employees and they catch you in that, any trust that you had is gone. They're not going to trust you, and if they don't trust you, you can't influence them to do their jobs. I mean, you might be able to just get up there and blab all day long about what needs to be done, but they don't believe in you anymore because they caught you lying to them. So don't lie to your people. Be straight up. They can handle the truth. And it might be an ugly truth. It might be a painful truth. You might be at a point in your business where a certain number of people are going to get laid off. Don't make the threats of people getting laid off. Just get up there and say, you know what, this is where our business is at. This is where we need to be. Here's what needs to be done. And don't make the threats of firing people or terminating or layoffs, because that's going to demotivate your team. They'll get the message when they know that, we're here, but we need to be here. They'll be able to read between the lines and say, you know what, it's time to pull together. This is a team effort. Let's get everybody and let's pull through and let's make this happen and get where we need to be. So as a manager, as a business owner, be honest with your people. Give them the truth straight up. They can handle it. All right, moving on to step number 4. In addition to telling the truth, you need to own everything. That means everything is your responsibility. If something didn't work out, you need to own it. It's your fault. If one of the team members didn't pull through, they didn't get something done on time, it's your fault. And let them know that. So if, for example, if you're ever in a team meeting where everybody gets called in because we need to figure out why something didn't work, why a customer didn't get an order on time, why a product failed, so that when they see that you're up there taking responsibility from your boss for their mistake, the respect for you is just going to go off the charts, because they're going to know inside that was my mistake. I failed there. But you know what? My boss, he's out there. He's owning it. He's taking the heat for my mistake. He's saying it's his fault. And it is. It is his fault because the team failed and he's leading the team, so it's his fault. So when you can show your team that you're taking responsibility for the whole team, good or bad, that's going to elevate their level of respect and they are going to trust you implicitly forever and ever. And it's also going to motivate them so much more than it ever did, because they are never going to want to see you having to take the blame for something that was their fault. So moving on to number 4, trust your employees, trust your team members. In order for them to trust you and believe in you, you need to give trust back. And one of the best ways to trust your employees is to give them an assignment, give them a project, and let them go execute it on their own without you. And let it be their idea. I mean, say, you know what, here's a project that needs to be done. And have them come up with a project plan for how they think it should be done. Look at the plan, validate it, make sure that it's a sound idea, even if it's not exactly the way you would do it. But you know what? It'll work. Give it to them. Let them execute it. They'll be a lot more vested in it when it's their own idea. Now don't give them something that's so big that will have consequences if they fail. But start off small. Give your team members small projects that they can go and execute on their own. It could even be like just a sub-project of a bigger project that's going on. And let them go execute it themselves. And it'll be their plan, it'll be their idea. And when they do it, I mean, this is going to build trust in you because you gave them an assignment to go off and execute it. They're going to trust you more because you are trusting them. And maybe it doesn't work out. Maybe there's some problems along the way. So don't use this as an opportunity to scold them or anything, but as an opportunity to learn and grow. And give them another project, maybe a little bit more responsibility, and then a bigger one and a bigger one. And this is how you build trust in them. And eventually, you'll be able to give them projects that are sizable, but you'll have the belief and trust in them that they'll be able to execute it to completion. And when you can trust them at that level, just imagine the trust that they're going to give back to you. And when you have all that trust, it's going to allow you to further influence them. In some cases, you might even need to micromanage them on some of these projects. You might need to get involved on a daily level with them to get through the project. But this is where you're teaching them, and it's an opportunity to grow. And you constantly want to be aware that you're micromanaging them and then slowly backing off and pushing more and more responsibility and trust on them. Because if you continue to micromanage them all the time, then you're not a very effective manager. The effective manager is one who manages his people, gives them the resources that they need, and then has the trust in them that they can go off and execute the plan, the project, or the job, whatever it is. So moving on to number 5, encourage questions from your team members and your employees. Don't ever make them feel stupid for asking a question. Because if they're asking a question about how something is done or why are we doing this, it shows that they're not on board yet. And it shows that they don't understand the goal, the vision, or the mission, whatever it is. But you want to keep the door open. You want to encourage them to ask questions, to push back on you or the idea or the vision, to allow you to clarify on where we're going, why we're going there. Because if you don't have the hearts and the minds of them, then they're not going to deliver for you. They're not going to go the extra mile. They're not going to trust you. And again, if they don't trust you, you can't influence them. So allow them to ask those questions and push back against your ideas. And this will challenge you to know that what you've already shared with them wasn't clear. It didn't get them on board. You didn't do a good enough job of influencing them, of sharing with them why this is important, why we need to do this, why we're going in this direction. So if they're disagreeing with the direction of where you're going, you want them to be able to raise their hand and say, hey, I don't get this, or why are we doing this? And that's your opportunity to get out there and further sell them on the vision and find out exactly what it is that they don't get, why they don't get it, and then help them understand. All right, there you go. 5 easy steps to being the best, the most effective manager, business owner, entrepreneur that you can be. Now, in order for you to grow your business, you need to hire the best people. You can't just hire anybody. You want to hire the best people into your business, the best managers, the people that are going to help your business grow. To help you out with this, I wrote a brand new book. It's called The 7 Master Steps to Hiring A Players. And if you're not hiring A players, you better start. Because if you're not, your business is going to suffer and it's probably just going to be a flat line. So you want to aim to hire the best people that you can absolutely hire and nobody less. So head on over to thesimplehiringsystem.com and download the 7 master steps to hiring A players. And I guarantee you will dramatically improve on the quality of the people that you bring in to your organization. That's all I have for you today. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye now.